You blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you are the biblical Israelites that the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
You can read about your heritage in the Bible, but you ain't going to find African American in the Bible, so you're not going to be able to read about yourself. Understand that. So if you claim that you have a relationship with the Most High God, then you ought to know who you're breeding up under. If you claim to have a relationship with the Most High God, you should be keeping God's high holy days, which is the Passover, Purim, the Feast of Dedication, right? Nicanor, these are high holy days that's coming up as we speak. But a lot of our people don't worship God high holy days, they worship holidays, man-made given things. Read.
He maketh the devices of the people of none effect. The counsel of the Lord Yahweh standeth forever.
Now read that one more time from the top.
The book of Psalms, chapter 33 and verse 10. The Lord Yahweh bringeth the counsel of the heathen to naught.
He's going to bring their whole counsel to nothing. The big players that run this earth, the people that's in power, he's going to round them up and bring them to nothing. He's going to strip them flat, butt naked. That's what the Most High God is saying. Read.
He maketh the devices of the people.
He makes the devices of the people. What is the devices of the people, King? Do you know? That camera is a device of the people. Your PlayStation video game, your cell phone.
Alcohol.
Is the devices. Alcohol is devices. Right? That's right. All this technology is their devices that they getting us hooked on, and they got 5G out here that's tearing us up worse than what weed is doing to our brain cells. You see that? But our people don't care about the consequences for holding these things the same way our people don't care about smoking. We know when we smoke that on the cigarette packet say warning, it give you lung cancer and all these other different diseases. We don't care. We look right past that and do it anyway. Same way we look by 5G. It's destroying us, but we say it's a faster network. So we walk around with that destruction tool in our pocket, tearing down our temple. Because your body is a temple. You do know your body's a temple, right? Okay, read.
He maketh the devices of the people of none effect. The counsel of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai standeth forever.
So these devices is going to be of none effect. That's saying your YouTube, your phones, your TV, your cable, all that's going to come a time was going to be shut down. That's what the Bible is saying. You with me? Because guess what? They got all types of weaponry, right? They got weaponry that dismantle this whole United States. You see that? One weapon. If they detonate a nuclear bomb up in the atmosphere, it shut down all electronics. It fries them. Right? What do they call it, Kings? The EMP. I know you heard of the EMP. See, our people don't read. So if you don't know about the EMP, that means you don't know about the Satan 1 or the Satan 2 that they got built. This is a nuclear bomb. That got 8 nuclear warheads that could go to 8 different targets at the same time, spontaneously. So you ain't know that either. They got, if you Google on your phone, King, you can look up literally the Satan 1 and the Satan 2. Look it up. My thing to you is, why do they call it that? Now this is some of the most biggest destructional warheads that they got on Earth. Why did they call it the Satan 1 and the Satan 2? The Satan 1 was powerful enough. Just one warhead that could destroy the state the size of Texas. Now they made it bigger. They upped the ante and made the Satan 2. And the Satan 2 can defend itself from defense systems. Did you know World War III is documented in the Bible? Let's get that for the Bible. Finish that out.
Oh, I got the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, and verse 16.
Bring it out now.
Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals and the fire.
Now, the smith of old, right? His job was to make weaponry, like the swords. You put a sword or a piece of metal up under hot heat, hot fire, and you take a hammer, and you hit it together to make it the shape that you want out of it. Now, this smith has created the sword, the shield, right? Now we up the ante. That's how we fought wars, with the shield and sword, right? Have bow and arrows. We up the ante to World War I. Fighting with what? Ammo and ammunition, with the grenades on the battlefield. Same in World War II, right? We're going to read about World War III that's documented in the Bible. That's soon to happen. Soon. Sooner than you think. Read.
Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work.
That brings forth an instrument for his work. Now let's find out what type of instrument is bringing forth.
And I have created the waster to destroy.
What is it called?
And I have created the waster to destroy.
One more time, huh?
And I have created the waster to destroy.
The waster. It's called the waster because it wastes land.
Right!
It dry up your rivers, your lakes, part of your oceans, and make them evaporate. This is talking about your nuclear war, the nuclear bombs that's in the Bible. Okay? Go ahead.
The book of Ezra, chapter 16 and verse 11.
Bring that out.
The Lord Yahweh shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence.
God created us, and every insect, every animal, every living being and creature here, God created. The same way he wiped out all life during the flood, he's going to wipe off all life with fire. Give me that.
The earth quaketh, and the foundations thereof.
So it's going to be a big, massive earthquake before this thing hit. Read.
The sea ariseth up with waves from the deep.
What does the rivers and your oceans and your lake do?
The sea ariseth up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also, before the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Hawashai, and before the glory of his power. For strong is the right, for strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss.
Now, these arrows that the Bible is talking about missiles.
That's
the
right.
missiles that they have built today, they hit their target. These missiles can go around defenses, Homeland Security defense systems, and hit their target. So he's saying that the missiles that they got today won't miss. Whether they on the helicopters, the missiles won't miss. Whether they on your jets, the missiles will not miss. Whether you're on the aircraft carriers, your battleships, these missiles that they got built today is pinpoint accuracy. Read.
When they begin to be shot into the ends of the world,
they're going to be shot from ends of the world. That's that intercontinental ballistic missile. They could go around the whole world and hit their destination, man. That's what we got coming. Get into the book of Isaiah chapter 9 and 5, Hebrew. Right? Let's see how powerful these things are, man. Read.
The book of Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise.
All right, King. Let me give you a flyer. You familiar with YouTube, right? It's a YouTube channel, Mark the Green, WF5 Pittsburgh. You click on that and you can see videos, and you know what I'm saying? You'll be on here today as well. So check that out. All right, King, Shalom. Right? Because we got destruction is coming to this place. Give me Isaiah 9 and 5, Hebrew.
The book of Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood.
The garments, a lot of garments going to be rolled in blood, man. Give me the book of 2 Peter 3:10, Hebrew. Right? We're going to dive into this thing. Right? Let's bring it out, man, because we're going to read the things that's in the Bible that your pastors refuse to read. A lot of y'all hearing this for your first time because your pastors, you've been to church your whole life and you never heard this, but it's in the King James Version Bible that sits on your pastor's desk and he reads from to the congregation, but you never read this because he refused to read it to you. So God raised up real men to come out on the highways and byways and read it to the people. Read what you got.
The book of 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 10. But the day of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Hawashai will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat.
The elements shall melt with fervent heat. Right? In the book of Matthew, chapter 13:49, Hebrew. The elements, your buildings, your rocks, your precious metals, right? It's going to melt with fervent heat. Your trees, all this going to be wiped out. This is World War III that's written in the Bible that your pastors won't bring out. But they teach you that God loves everybody and everything is going to be okay. Meanwhile, this place is prophesied to be destroyed. Read what you got.
Right. The book of Matthew, chapter 13 and verse 49. So shall it be at the end of the world.
At the end of the world. So shall it be at the end of the world. Read.
The angels shall come forth and sever the wicked from among the just.
So the angel's going to separate the wicked from the righteous men of the Lord. He's going to separate the sinners from the true men of the Lord that's keeping God's law, statutes, and commandments. Read.
And shall cast them into the furnace of fire.
And shall do what?
And shall cast them into the furnace of fire.
And shall do what?
And shall cast them into the furnace of fire.
Let me get the book of Revelation chapter 9 verse 6, Hebrew. Right? The angel's going to cast them into the lake of fire, man.
Right.
When these missiles hit, this place is going to burn. The smoke is going to go forever. That's what the Bible say. Read.
The book of Revelation chapter 9 and verse 6. And in those days shall men seek death and shall not find it.
Now, in these days, people going to wish they could die but won't be able to. See, our people underestimate the power of God, man. Our people too in the physical with this world and this Rome. So we can't understand that it's going to be a fire and people are going to be getting shot 3 times in their head, won't be able to die. People are going to be getting electrocuted but won't be able to die. The pastors won't read this, but it's written in the Bible.
That's right.
Read what you got.
The book of Job, chapter 11 and verse 20. But the eyes of the wicked shall fail, and they shall not escape, and their hope shall be as the giving up of the ghost.
That's the giving up of the ghost. Giving up of the ghost is giving up of your fleshly body.
That's right.
Right? The spirit lives on. Everybody have a spirit, man. We live in this flesh. When we die, our bodies, our spirit goes back up to the Heavenly Father. He judges it and sends it back down. But we're talking about at the end of the world. When the Messiah cracked that sky, that's what we're touching on. Let me get the book of Isaiah chapter 66, 22. Isaiah verse 66, 22, Hebrew. Read what you got.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 66 and verse 22. For as the new heavens and the new earth.
Now this is when the Messiah come back. When the new heaven and the new earth. So this place is going to be destroyed and it's going to be rebuilt. Read.
Which I will make shall remain before me, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. So shall your seed and your name remain.
So the children that makes it, the children that overcome, the children that endure to the end by keeping God's laws, statutes, and commandments and keeping his faith, they're going to get called up to the heavens. And their seed, their children, that's of age, a certain age, they're going to go to. Read.
Verse 23. Salakia. The verse 22. Yeah, the verse of Isaiah chapter 66 and verse 22. For as the new heavens and the new earth, which I will make, shall remain before me, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, so shall your seed and your name remain, and it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me.
So the Bible is saying that in the kingdom of heaven, we still gonna be keeping God's feasts and high holy days.
That's right.
In the kingdom, we still gonna be keeping his feasts and high holy days. Read.
Come to worship before me, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, and they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of the men that have transgressed against me.
Read that part again. They're going to go and look on the what?
And they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of the men that have transgressed against me.
So the sinners that don't make it to the new kingdom, the people that's up here, the ones that was called, is going to go down and look upon the carcasses that did not make it. Remember, we just read in Revelation 9 verse 6 that they ain't going to be able to die. This is what the Bible is talking about. Let me get the book of Mark chapter 9:43. Let me get Mark 9:43, Hebrew. We got to touch on this thing because this thing is real and our people don't seem to take God seriously enough. God is not all love. Read what you got, Art.
The book of Mark chapter 9 verse 43. And if thy hand offend thee, cut it off.
If your hand offend thee, if you like to steal, you like to pickpocket, if you like to do sin with your hands, God is saying pluck it off. He don't mean cut it off. He means stop doing it. Read.
It is better for thee to enter into life maimed than having 2 hands to go into hell, into the fire that shall never be quenched.
The fire that what?
That shall never be quenched.
The fire that what?
That shall never be quenched.
Read.
Where the worm dieth not.
Where the worm dieth not. The worm is your body, but the soul that dieth not. Read.
And the fire is not quenched. And if thy foot offend thee, cut it off. And
Now, if your shoes and your feet offend you, if you quick to run to mischief, if you quick to do sin with your feet, run into it, it don't mean cut your feet off. It just means stop doing the sin that you're doing. Read.
Right. It is better for thee to enter halt into life than having 2 feet to be cast into hell, into the fire that shall never be quenched, where their worm dieth not, and the fire is not quenched. And if thine eye,
If thy what?
and if thine eye,
If thy what?
and if thine eye offend thee, pluck it out.
If your eyes offend you, if you got wandering eyes, if you like looking at the females' behinds, if you like looking at whoremongers, the way they dress, if you like looking at sin in a negative way, God said pluck your eye out. He don't mean cut your eye out. He just means stop doing the things that you're doing that's wickedly with your eyes. Stop doing it. Convert means to change. Repent. Come back to God and keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. Read.
It is better for thee to enter into the kingdom of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai with 1 eye than having 2 eyes to be cast into hellfire, where the worm dieth not, and the fire is not quenched. For everyone shall be salted with fire.
Everyone that make it down there will be salted with fire. Everyone who don't get beamed up in the chariots, it's gonna be a harsh day for them. I'm sorry to tell you, but that's the real. Let's find out how truly God is. Give me the book of Isaiah, chapter 66, verse 15. Let's see what the Most High is coming for, what he's about. Let's find out what he's truly about. All right? Read what you got, huh?
The book of Isaiah, chapter 66, and verse 15. For behold, the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind.
This is the Messiah coming back. Read.
To render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire.
No, God is all love.
To render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire.
The Messiah is all love.
To render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire.
Don't the Christian church say God is coming back for all love? He's going to unite all races of people and we're going to live happily ever after. But the Bible is saying something totally different. So somebody's lying. Somebody's adding to the words and taking away from the words of the Most High God. That's a dangerous thing. Read.
For by fire and by his sword will the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai plead with all flesh.
By what?
Plead with all flesh.
By what?
Plead with all flesh.
God plead with all flesh with a sword and fire. That's how he pleads, man. We must understand this thing. Fuck it. So we must understand the true Messiah and the truth of God. They don't play. The Messiah's coming back for revenge, but the Christian church will tell you to forgive. God means to forgive your brother.
That's right.
Not to forgive your enemies. A lot of you children of Israel don't even know you got enemies, man. Let me drop that. Give me the book of Nehemiah chapter 5 verse 9, man. Our people don't even know we got enemies. The enemy ain't going to put you into slavery. An enemy ain't going to make you build up a whole country with no pay. An enemy ain't going to lie to you and say that they're going to give you 40 acres and a mule and don't do it. That's an enemy right there. That's not your friend. That's not your loved one. God said to forgive your own kindred, your own people, your own race. Forgive all 12 tribes, not your enemy. That's right. So you mean to tell me I'm seeing my sister get raped by a heathen and I'm supposed to forgive them? We don't do that today. If somebody gunned down our family members, we got family members that go back and get them, right?
Right.
So what makes you think it's okay to forgive the people who put you in slavery and it ain't gonna be nothing done to them, but you quick to kill your own? Wake up, Israel. Read what you got.
The book of Nehemiah chapter 5 and verse 9. Also I said, it is not good that ye do. Ought ye not to walk in the fear of our God?
We all supposed to be walking in the fear of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
That's right.
We all supposed to walk in the fear of God, but don't nobody fear him because they don't know the true destruction they got coming to them. Read.
Because of the reproach of the heathen are enemies.
Because the heathen are what?
The heathen are enemies.
The heathen are what?
The heathen are enemies.
The heathen are what?
The heathen are enemies.
The heathen are enemies.
That's right.
God is letting us know that we have enemy children in Israel. You're so forgiving when the right Caucasian race shoot y'all down right in the street with your hands up. No justice, no peace. Right? George Floyd was an example of that. But you forgive them anyway, and they constantly doing it. They constantly hanging our people, and we constantly saying, no, they all right. How is they all right? We constantly forgiving them, they constantly killing us down. That's an unbalance, man. Like something like to be done. What can be done? It's coming back to God's law, statutes, and commandments. But look, let's figure out how the Lord is. I'm gonna get you a question right next. Give me the book of what I want, Exodus 15:3. Exodus 15:3. Let's see what the Lord is about. Because the Lord said, the Messiah said, we got to go to him and he'll fight our battles. How can the Lord fight our battles if he's all about peace? If he's all about love? But let's see out of the Bible, the KJV, what does it says in here?
The book of Exodus chapter 15 and verse 3. The Lord Yahweh is a man of war.
The what?
The Lord Yahweh is a man of war.
What?
The Lord Yahweh is a man of war. The Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai is his name.
The Lord is a man of war. Where y'all get the Lord is all love? The Lord's coming back for revenge. He said he's coming back with a sword and slaughter people with fire. So, look, we out here to dumb down all lies. What's your question, Hebrew?
Shalom, brother.
Shalom.
I just wanted to hear one of the scriptures that was explaining the people that is allowing the oppression to keep happening, that know that they're considered African American. With them allowing it to keep happening, they're just as bad as the ones that's doing it. You know what I'm saying? Unlike us, unlike the brothers who already know where we come from and already got the word of God. You know, for the rest of us for the rest of the ones that's blind and deaf to the word, that's just sitting around, not really paying attention to what's going on. They gotta understand you just as bad as the people who's doing it.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You're not stopping nothing by just going about your day.
Because they're living in darkness.
Of course.
All right? They're living in darkness and they don't want to accept the truth. They were so used to being lied to for decades after decades, for generations, to talking about God is all love. So that's what they got in their head, that God's all love. But you can tell they don't read the Bible because God is a man of war. He don't play. He's coming back for vengeance. Read what you got.
The book of Matthew chapter 15 and verse 14.
To answer your question.
Let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind.
They be blind leaders of the blind. See that? They blind. They don't want to accept the truth. Right? Read.
And if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch.
So our people is blind and they lead in our youth. It's in the same way. So now it becomes a generational trait. It keeps repeating itself because we feeding our children lies. The same way we do with Christmas. People know God dang on well that Santa Claus is fake, but they teach their children that he's real.
Right.
So they teaching our people a lie from the youth. So we can't get mad when the kid grow up speaking lies because you was teaching them lies from youth.
Yeah.
You see that?
I got a question about,
okay, let me finish this and I got you after this. Read what you got.
The book of Proverbs chapter 17 and verse 15. He that justifieth the wicked.
He that what?
He that justifieth the wicked.
He that do what?
He that justifieth the wicked.
Just like the blind leading the blind. They justify wickedness. Read.
And he that condemneth the just, even they are both abomination to the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai.
Because our people love darkness rather than light. So they'd rather listen to a lie rather than listen to the truth. You see that? What's your question? Did I answer your question?
most definitely.
What's your question?
My question is, so I understand that in the Bible it says that Jesus, God, Yahshua, he's a man of war. He has vengeance, and I've heard that before. But doesn't it also say that vengeance is the Lord's? It's only for him. Like, we're not supposed to act out of his vengeance. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Right? So with that, I think, like, what's the word say about love and forgiveness? Because I know in the New Testament that Jesus says the new law is love and love thyself and love thy neighbor and love thy God as you would love yourself, basically. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's all love. And
what do that neighbor means? Did he say love your enemy as yourself or love thy neighbor as yourself? Okay, your neighbor in the scriptures means your own brother, your own sister.
Okay.
It's not talking about love everybody on the planet.
I know that'd be naive to think.
See that?
Yeah, I feel you. I don't know. Whenever I think of Jesus, whenever I feel the spirit, I feel it's a very pure spirit of like, it is love. Like if you're to take vengeance on somebody, you're not only gonna face repercussions of that, you're gonna like carry that with you your whole life.
That's right. And you're right about
that. If you love somebody and forgive them, you don't only like let them off the hook. You feel better yourself.
That's right.
I mean? So that's why I don't know. How I think of Jesus is just a spirit of love and forgiveness.
Right, and that's what we was taught by the pastors. All these churches, different denominations that set up, got us believing that God is all love. But we just read, you just told me that God is the Lord of man of war. So if he's all love, wouldn't that contradict it?
Here's what I think. I think God's vengeance, the Lord's vengeance, is for the truly, truly wicked and evil.
See, this is the thing. We like to go off of our own emotions of what we think, right? Hold that precept. We're gonna come back to it. Give me the book of give me Proverbs 14:12. See, this is the thing. We like to go off of what we think or what, you know what I'm saying, our own emotions on what it should be like. No, God made this heaven and earth, so we got to understand why he's the way he is. And the only way we can figure that out is by being in his word, to know about him. Because we go off of the pastors to teach us what they feel about him. You can teach me what you feel about him, but we got to read the Bible to find out ourselves. That's why he said study and show ourselves to approve. You see that? That's why he said that. Read what you got.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 14 and verse 12.
And this is how people feel. Like you said, I feel. You kept using the words, I feel, or I think it should be this way, or I feel it should be that way. Read.
There is a way which seemeth right unto a man.
Now, all love, that seems right to you, right? That God should be about all love. That seems right. It seems right. Read.
But the end thereof are the ways of death.
But the what?
But the end thereof are the ways of death.
Read it one more time from the top.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 14 and verse 12. There is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death.
See that? Get your precept out. You see that? So we can't go off of what we think or how we feel. If we do that, we go off our own emotions. We got to do what God says.
You know, but at the same
time.
Hold
on. Before you go there, we're going to bring one more for you. You got to like to read too.
The book of Romans, chapter 10 and verse 2. For I bear them record that they have the zeal of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, but not according to knowledge.
Our people got a zeal for God, right? We know we're supposed to be serving God. We know we're supposed to be doing his will, but it's not according to this book.
That's right.
We serving him and we doing the things to our own knowledge. That's why you got so many pastors in different churches, speaking all things differently. But God said there's only one faith, one truth, and one baptism. You see that? So you got over 20 different denominations all speaking different things. That's not one truth. It's not one faith. It was in the damn sure ain't one baptism. That's what God says. You got to obey God rather than man. Read.
For they being ignorant of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness.
You see that? They pick God righteousness away and they say, no, God is all love. I think he should be this way. I feel that it should be, he should come back for the whole world. No, God said something totally different.